A stereotype is a generalized belief of a social or cultural group. In other words, a stereotype is an expectation that every individual from a particular group act in similar ways. The original meaning of the term is solid impression. In fact, stereotypes are very resistant to change. The concept of stereotypes belongs in the domain of social and cognitive psychology, but it's clear that biological factors contribute to the formation of them. Research suggests that people have a natural tendency to be wary of people who are unfamiliar to them, and that we favor our own group over others. This may have an evolutionary origin, that there are survival advantages of in-group cooperation. The natural tendency for in-group bias is also the underlying assumption of social identity theory. According to this theory, people tend to naturally divide people around them into social categories and also distinguish between groups they belong to, in-groups, and groups they do not belong to, out-groups, or us and them. Because we favor our in-groups over out-groups, this could lead to discrimination. Another explanation for the formation of stereotypes is the cognitive limitations of our thinking. Rational thinking and accurate perceptions of the world does not come easy for humans, and we are naturally inclined to be biased. It is believed that humans organize their knowledge of the world into schemas, which can be described as preconceived ideas about the world. Those schemas or beliefs tend to stay unchanged, even when presented with new contradictory information. A stereotype is a type of schema. The flaw in our thinking can lead us to perceive relationships although there are none. One such cognitive bias is illusory correlation, which could be the underlying reason for the formation of some stereotypes. According to research by Hamilton and Gifford in 1977, stereotypes about minorities can arise because we tend to pay more attention to new, infrequent, and shocking stimuli. These stimuli will always be more easily available in our long-term memory. Since we often have very little experience of minority groups, we may tend to form an association with such groups and antisocial behavior, which is also rare. This is because it may be more memorable to read in the news about immigrants committing crimes compared to non-immigrants. This can lead to the illusory correlation that immigrants are criminals. This is an illusory correlation because although immigrants are often overrepresented in criminal statistics due to socioeconomic factors, there is only a small fraction of immigrants who are actually committing crime. Stereotypes about certain social and cultural groups vary across the world. This is due to enculturation, in which we learn the norms and beliefs of our society, which also includes stereotypes. The process of enculturation occurs through social learning. 3 famous studies at Princeton University have demonstrated that Americans have shared stereotypes of certain cultural groups. Chinese, for example, are seen as intelligent and loyal to family. It is clear that stereotyping can affect the well-being of those that are being exposed to them. The expectations on their behavior may stress them and affect their self-esteem, which in turn may force them to act in stereotypical ways. Negative expectations can also have a detrimental effect on behavior. For example, if you believe that immigrants are criminals, you may avoid contact with them, which in turn will marginalize them even more from society. The stereotype threat is a phenomenon linked to the negative expectations of stereotypes. It was first suggested by Steele and Aronson in 1995 and suggests that if an individual is in a situation in which he or she perceives he or she is being stereotyped, it may impair his or her performance. For example, someone with an immigrant background may experience twice the amount of stress as others when taking a test, because he or she also needs to disprove the stereotype that immigrant children don't do well in school. It is important that we attempt to fight our natural tendency of stereotyping due to the negative effect on its victims. This is best done through education and exposure to and mixture with different cultures and social groups. It is important to note, however, that we have made strong progress. The world is a very different place compared to just 50 years ago.